Hello, thanks for joining me for another beer review. Today we've got a beer from Fuller's and it's their Vintage Ale Limited Edition 2019 release. It's an old ale then, coming at 8.5% ABV. And it's in this very smart box which you get every year. It's a limited edition, of course, as it says, but they bring it out annually, going back to, is it 1994 or something like that? But yeah, I've not had like loads of old editions of this beer. Funnily enough, my first edition was last year. I think I may have had one or two older ones, but actually reviewing wise, this is my second one. So yeah, there's been a bit of politics with this brewery over the last like 18 months or so. It's now part of where is it? Asahi. It's part of the UK Asahi Holdings, so whatever. That's politics for another day. I'm just more interested in the beer that they produce and see if it's good enough or not. So, as you can see, it's in this lovely kind of, there's information there. I won't go into that now. I'm trying to keep the review time down if I can. So yeah, it's in a 500ml bottle then. Best before the 31st of December of 2029. So if you can keep it that long, it'll make you a bit of money, I reckon. But I'm drinking it now, within this year, just about. By the time you see this, it'll probably be New Year. But yeah, I'm reviewing this on the 30th of December of 2019. So yeah, this is beer number 27,532. There we go. Lovely looking label, bit of old school about it. It's got this lovely kind of 1997, there you go. 1997 was the first release. Not, yeah, I was a little bit out. I knew it was in the 90s, but yeah, as you can see there. Right, let's crack this beer open then. This beer cost me in Waitrose in the UK, which is a UK supermarket, for £6. £6 English pounds. We'll go into the beer and what's in it, etc. in a minute. I'll leave it like that now. Just let it breathe. Let the bottle breathe, let the beer breathe. And by the looks of it, I have a clean glass. But yeah, very kind of dark amber, mahogany, copper sort of colour. Didn't really produce much of a head on that steady pour. 8.5% as I've already said. I think this is 40 IBUs by all accounts. Yeah, 40 IBUs. Yeah, looks the part. Very kind of clear, despite the colour. So an English old ale. Let's get an aroma then. I've actually had this beer. I had it in August of this year at the London Craft Beer Festival. They had it on cask, which was I think it was literally a few weeks old at that point, with Jake, Harry, who else was it? I was pretty bladdered, so you've probably seen a few reviews floating around online about it, but yeah, I was gone. Ollie, that's it. Sorry, Ollie. Yeah, that was a great day. This is, on the aroma, coming across typically malty for the style, which is normal. But you're also getting that kind of like that brewer's yeast you get from Fuller's, especially this kind of style of beer. A slight kind of jammy, marmalade-y, yeah, deep orange kind of aroma. Maybe a slightly sweetness like honey or something like that. Definitely a sweet kind of beer to me. Although it's got that obvious malt presence. There's other kind of factors coming into play that I'm not sure what they are, but it smells wonderful. Let's just go ahead and give it a try. Cheers. Oh my god. Oh. Wow, that is smooth. I mean, this is a fresh. When some of these beers, depending on whatever they use, most of them get better with time. I've still got a 2018 in the fridge, which I'm going to age, which I reviewed. But I've still got another bottle left. Oh, itchy nose, sorry. There's a little bit of alcohol in the aroma, just a touch, but you're not getting it on the taste. Yeah, it's kind of a candied kind of sugar, candied orange, if you like, burnt orange, slightly sticky. There's definitely a honey aspect in it, or I don't know if it's honey or not syrup. I won't go as far as that, but there's definitely some kind of sweetness going on there. Definitely alcohol in the nose, but definitely not in the taste, which is quite impressive. This beer is only going to mellow out over time. More, I mean, it's quite rounded already. What are we now? August. I don't actually know when it was released. I don't know if it was actually the London Craft Beer Festival in August or just before. So you're talking less than 6 months old. I don't know if there's any information about that sort of thing, but it's a fantastic beer. It really is. If you could keep hold of this bottle for, say, 10 years, this bottle would cost you in, say, 10 years' time. So if you're viewing this, if I'm still around, say, in 2029, by the end of this alleged shelf life, then it's going to cost you about 400 quid, 450, something like that. Who knows, it could be more. But this cost me £6 in this present day and age in 2019. Which is a bargain. It's worth buying, just to drink it now or buy a few, age a few, potentially make a little bit of money. It's very smooth, it's very rounded, considering this is a new beer. It's only going to get better. When I tried it on cask, it was different. I actually prefer it in the bottle, I think, than on cask. As great as cask is for this kind of style of beer, and it was obviously very fresh back then. It'd be nice to do a side by side. Obviously cask is going to be fresh because it's cask. This is fantastic. I mean, the last couple of years I've tried this beer, and I think I've tried one or two others prior at bottle shares or whatever. It's just awesome, absolutely awesome. There is a bit of information on the actual box, not the bottle. I'm looking at the bottle for information, and it's the same as what's on Untapped. But I'm just going to get to the kind of the more kind of relevant points. You know, it's the Griffin Brewery, produced each year. For Vintage Ale 2019, we travelled 12,000 miles for inspiration. As West London meets South Islands in New Zealand, Wai-Iti hops bring mandarin, lemon and lime to the fore, while crystal malt grown on New Zealand's Canterbury plains adds notes of toasted bread and honey. There you go. I promise you I've never read this before. What else does it say? Looking a little close to home, our Fuller's yeast gives this beer a more familiar orange marmalade backbone. which is pretty much what I got last year, and I'm getting it this year. Bottle condition, natural sediment will form, so store upright and pour carefully. And that's it. Other information here: ingredients, water, malted barley, yeast and hops. Fuller's, www.fullersbrewery.co.uk. So you go on there, you can check out other vintages and what's available on their website. It gives you an idea of actual costs for some of the other kind of vintage ales in years past. But yeah, really good information there. I don't know if they used to last year, that used to come with a little booklet, but there's nothing like that this year. So yeah, whatever. 8.5%, 40 IBUs, 10 years on it pretty much. So let's pour the rest of this beer out and I'll give it a rating. So a beer like this really does need to be savoured, and I think that this time of year, it's a good time of year as any to enjoy a decent beverage. So I'm drinking my Christmas beers basically between Christmas and New Year. Look at that. How good does that look? Oh, that's splendid. I think this beer is only going to get better with age. I mean, it's still relatively fresh, 6 months or so, or maybe 5 months in a bottle. Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Almost certainly my favourite cask beer brewery in the UK. Maybe with Samuel Smith's. It's a toss up between them two breweries. Yeah, cool. For me then, a rating on this one, I'm going to give this a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a 3.75 on the Untapped scale, but I think give it a year or two, it's going to be pushing 8 and above. So yeah, hopefully I can get some more bottles of this and maybe do one in like 5 years, like Paul does over at PA Brew News. Yeah, go and check him out if you haven't already. He loves his Fuller's, and I said this the last time. Every time I have a Fuller's beer, I always mention him because I know he's a Fuller's fanboy. So yeah, so definitely check his channel out. Yeah, I reckon within a year or two this beer's only going to improve. It's not going to get any worse, it's going to improve, it's going to be a better beer. But this is still a damn good beer, even fresh now in the year of 2019 and, you know, early part of 2020. Don't want to change that much, but yeah, give it a few years. It's a banging beer. So I might get another one and maybe do one in a few years' time. Anyway, we'll go to Untapped then. 1,530 total check-ins on this. I've had this once. I'm interested to see what I actually gave it on cask. I might even give it a high score on cask, and I actually think it's better in a bowl. So that's going to be wrong, of course. So it's 1,398 total ratings then, coming in at 3.76. Pretty much where I'm at. It's where I'm at. It's a good beer, but I think give it a few years, this beer is going to improve with age. What did I actually, you know, for shits and giggles, let's have a look, see what I gave it at the London Craft Beer Festival, but I was pissed, so what's the chances of that? I've given it the same score, and I've actually said it's a bit young, although on cask, so I'm actually giving it the same score, and I just checked now, I've given it the same score. So there you go, it seems to be consistent. Yeah, check it out. This is Fuller's Vintage Ale 2019. Let me just put the cap back on there like that for the thumbnail then. Not me, but yeah, the beer. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you've had it before. Also check out Harry's live review of this beer. He done it about a month or two ago, if I remember. I'll put the link down below. If not, just go and check out Harry. Anyway, thanks for watching then. Long review, I know, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.